Hey, I'm Lindsay Lyman. I worked almost 12 years at Amazon and saw so many brilliant and successful overachievers burn themselves out and leave their jobs because they're so stressed and anxious. But guess what? Having a successful career does not have to be at the expense of your mental sanity and personal time. There's an easier way, and I can show you how. Let's do this. Hey y'all, how's it going? I hope life's being nice to you and that you're doing something fun this week. Would you do me a favor and send this podcast or an episode that you really like to a friend or coworker? It would be so helpful if you did. Your recommendation of this to other people helps others gain some insight and wisdom, and my goal is to just help as many people as I can. And I'd love it if you helped me do that along the way. So hit that send button on your phone, kick it off to someone that you think might enjoy this, and share the love, my friends. So today we're going to talk about how do you get better at trusting yourself. Whenever there's something I'm trying to work on a relationship with myself on, it's easier for my brain to think about it if I frame it first around like my relationship with someone else around this thing. So today I want to talk about specifically when I say trusting yourself, I want to talk about the part of doing what you say you're going to do. So as I think about this in terms of other people, when I make plans with other people, very rarely do I not follow through or back out of them. If I tell my kids I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and they're going to beg and nag me, and it's not going to be pretty if I say I'm not going to do it when they have an expectation that something is going to happen. Think of it like with your friends. We'll make plans to go out to dinner, and if I tell you I'm going to be there, 99% of the time, I'm going to show up and do it. You're going to know that I'm that kind of person that shows up when I say yes, I'm a yes. In a work setting, maybe you commit to deliver something to your manager. You're going to do everything you can to hit that date. And if it's looking like you're not going to or something needs to shift, you're going to communicate that and set that proper expectation ahead of time. You're not just going to lie to them and hide and pretend it's fine and then the day of be like, oops, my bad. We're not going to be able to deliver this thing. Think of like if you told your team you're going to bring in donuts. Again, you're going to bring those in. You're not just going to back out and be like, yeah, I didn't feel like stopping on my way in. We make commitments to other people and we're pretty good at keeping them. But how are you at keeping these commitments to yourself? Think about your plan for the day today or tomorrow. How committed are you to actually doing what you have planned for yourself? Think about when you committed to exercise. Are you doing what you say you're going to do and showing up for yourself? Think about when you told yourself you're going to go to bed and when you're going to get up. Are you honoring your commitments to yourself? Are you telling yourself you're not going to work tonight? And yet, you know deep down you probably are. We lie to ourselves all the time. So of course we struggle to trust ourselves. We will even commit to doing things to ourselves when we know deep down, and if we're being honest with ourselves, it's never going to happen. But we're just telling ourselves like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do that later. We're constantly lying to ourselves and breaking down that trust we want to have. Partly we don't do what we tell ourselves we're going to do is because we think we have to want to do it in order to do it. And then a lot of times we kind of fool ourselves and we do other things that I kind of would classify as busy work instead of the productive work and the productive thing we actually want to be doing. Because again, we think we have to want to do it and we constantly lie to ourselves and tell us like, oh, we'll just do it tomorrow. It'll be fine. It's not a big deal. But here's the real problem. When you don't have trust with yourself and you're not doing what you say you're going to do. One of the things I notice is you're not able to enjoy that downtime. When you're taking a break, when you get to do whatever you want to do, to play, to watch a show, to read a book, to take a bath, to go exercise, like whatever that thing is you want to do for downtime, when you're not keeping your commitments to yourself, it's so much harder to relax and be focused and present and enjoy that moment because your brain is constantly beating the crap out of you, telling you all the things you should be doing. that you said you were going to do that you didn't get done, that are going to be a problem tomorrow because you didn't keep your commitments to yourself. So that downtime where you're trying to give your brain and your mental capacity and your emotions and your body a break, it's not actually working. It's not rejuvenating you. It's not fulfilling you because you don't have trust with yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're lying to yourself saying you're going to do things and you're not doing them. And then you're beating yourself up for it afterwards. It's a problem to constantly be beating yourself up like that. It's not fun. No one wants to hang around a friend that is constantly lying to them and then getting mad at them for not doing the thing. But that's what we do to ourselves all the time. And then we spend so much of our emotional and mental energy throughout the day thinking about what we want and what we didn't do and what we should be doing and all the things we have to do. We spend so much of our emotional energy wasted on worry because we don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to do what we say we're going to do. And when we don't trust ourselves, we need others to trust us so that we feel like we're a good person. We need validation from other people. We focus so much on what we can produce, on the output, on what we do. And that's how we learn to feel good about ourselves because we don't trust ourselves to do what we say we're going to do. And we're constantly beating ourselves up about it. And that does not feel good. Like I said, if you think about this from an external perspective, you wouldn't hang around people that talk to you the way you talk to yourself. You wouldn't hang around that person that tells you they're going to go and do the thing and 9 times out of 10 backs out of it. You may still invite that person, but you're going to know they're not going to show and you're not going to count on them and you're not going to expect them to be there and you're not going to be excited when they're there and you're not going to give them an assignment and let them be a part of it. So I think all of us struggle with this to one extent or another. But what I want to offer to you to think about and focus on for the next couple weeks is how do you improve that relationship with yourself? There's a million different ways you can do this. Pick what works best for you. What I would offer to you is whatever you choose, start small, like really small. Don't commit to something. Don't tell yourself you're going to do something. Don't tell yourself you're not going to do something unless it is an easy hell yes. You've got to be all in. This may look like tomorrow or next week when you schedule out your calendar. If you look at that schedule you've put in place for yourself, and it's not easy for you to be like, oh yeah, no problem. For sure, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick to these commitments. I'm going to have enough time. I'm going to have enough energy. This schedule is completely doable. Don't tell yourself you're going to do it. Make it so small. You have to start building trust with yourself again. You have to stop lying to yourself and committing to things you know you're not going to do and you're going to back out of. Look at what have you committed to over the next weekend? Are you really going to do these things? Be honest. Again, if you're not all in, it's a no. We want to start building trust, not because you can't back out of things, because you can't change and be agile and nimble and make new plans, but because we're trying to practice building that trust up with ourselves. We've had so many years lying to ourselves and not keeping our commitments. We just want to start small. Okay, but I'm going to give you a warning. Here's what's going to happen. 2 things. 1, your brain is an amazing salesperson. And most likely, your brain is going to, if it hasn't already, it's going to tell you if it's not big and hard, like, is that really going to make a difference? Does it really matter? And I'm here to tell you yes. If going big and making the huge dramatic shifts and changes worked, we all would have so many problems solved. But we don't. We do dramatic things to have big changes and they're not sustainable. And we end up back where we were. This is why a lot of us can gain and lose weight all the time. We do big dramatic things, but we're not making small, consistent changes. If the big changes worked, again, I'd be all in. But it hasn't worked so far. So how about we just start small. Consistency is significantly more important than a big, huge overhaul and change of everything. Think of the theory of like a 1 degree change, right? An airplane flying from the West Coast to the East Coast, 1 degree off is going to land in a significantly different place because that 1 degree is applied consistently over and over and over again. It's the same thing here. Don't let your brain fool you and tell you it has to be big and hard or it's not going to matter. We want to make small, consistent changes in building trust. Trust comes in those little, tiny moments. My guess is you trust yourself enough to go and do some of those big things, to do the hard things. When it comes down to it, you'll push your way through and make it work. We want to start building trust in those small, little things. Okay, so my warning number 1 to you is your brain's going to think it's not worth it. It's not actually going to work. It needs to be bigger or harder. My second warning is if you commit to do something, let's say to your schedule, here's what's going to happen. You're going to plan ahead. You're going to make sure that you feel that it's 100% doable, that you're feeling good, that you're excited about it. And when the time comes to do that thing, you're not going to want to do it. I promise you. Again, your brain is the greatest salesperson ever. Your brain will tell you there's other things you should be doing, you could be doing. It's okay. Let your brain tell you that. But then you just get to manage your brain because you're the emotional adult and say, I hear you, but this is what we had planned to do. We're going to keep our commitments to ourselves. This is how we build trust. We don't get distracted by the shiny objects and the squirrels along the way. I see this so often at work where people will have a schedule and it'll be time to go and do something and they don't feel like doing it. So they'll do some other work and it feels productive. They're telling themselves they're getting things done, but in reality, they're not because they're spending all their time focused on the busy work and not actually doing the things that matter and are going to drive impact and change. So we want to start small and plan on not feeling like doing it when the time comes and just do it anyways. Tell yourself, I'm doing this to practice building trust. It's okay. Once you get into it and start doing it, I promise it's not as bad. Something in motion stays in motion, right? It's that step from 0 to 1 is the hardest first step. You don't have to want to do things. But when you've planned it out and you honor your commitments to yourself and you trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, guess what? You don't have to work at nights and weekends. Guess what? When you sit down to watch a show or take a bath or go for a walk, your brain is all in on being present in the moment. It's not spinning on what you should have done, on what you told yourself you were going to get done. It gives you that chance to rest so that the next day you're able to possibly do even more in your schedule because you actually took a break and you feel good and you know you will do what you have committed to do. So we want to focus on building trust with ourselves. We want to do what we say we're going to do. Be very, very cautious of what you commit to do for yourself and do it even when you don't want to. Practice it this week for the next couple of weeks. Let me know how it goes. Email me at Lindsay Lyman Coaching or come find me on Instagram at Lindsay Lyman Coaching. Send me a DM. I want to know how this goes for you. But we want to start building trust with ourselves in those small day-to-day moments. This is going to help you not only build a healthier relationship with yourself, but be able to rest and relax and enjoy and have downtime and not feel like you're constantly rushing and hustling and can't get ahead of your to-do list. All right, you're amazing. You got this. We'll talk soon. If what you're learning from this podcast is helping, this is just the beginning. Each week, I offer a limited number of coffee chats so that you and I can connect one-on-one and talk specifically about what's going on for you. You'll leave this call feeling more hopeful and motivated, but I'm also going to teach you a few things to try right away to get unstuck. Space is very limited and these are free, so grab your spot before they're gone. Click the link in the show notes or go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/chat and sign up today. You got this.